Hey everybody, welcome to the Spooky Pizza Gift Shop. My name is Ken. Don't really have a theme for this episode. I just want to talk about where I've been. So I'm going to talk about some personal news, mostly related to work, and I thought we would do that while we're looking at the local news. So I have three of our free local newspapers. The Southwest Michigan Spark for November 2025, the Good Newspaper for November 2025, and the South County News, which has a lot of news and also ads, like this one for Jaspar's Pizza. Jaspar's Pizza, I used to live in the town where this is, was really good pizza. It was started by a guy from Italy named Jaspar, and his son didn't want to take it over, and so he sold it to somebody. And the guy thought, "Oh, I've got a money making, I've got a golden goose here thing," and he tried franchising it, and suddenly there were 7 or 8 all over the place, and they just weren't as good anymore, which kind of makes me sad because it's the last time I went to a Jaspar's Pizza, they had a pizza buffet, and the pizza tasted like it had been cooked during the Clinton administration. It just was not great. It was old. So one of our local high school marching bands on the front. So anyway, several months ago, I had an opportunity at my office, my work. I work in a lab. I work in QA. It takes a science background, but I had an opportunity to move from QA into training, and I used to be a teacher, and I've done a lot of training. At my last job, I created a training program from scratch because we didn't have one. Our training program was literally pieces of paper. And every year when we had an ISO audit, because it was automotive, they said, "You've got to do something about this." And so I was brought aboard to do that because I had a background in education. I did a great job. Long story there. I did too great a job. But anyway, I wanted to get into this training program because our training program at where I work is not that great. Look, woolly bear caterpillars. I do not know. There's always a talk like you can tell how bad the winter's going to be by how wide this brown stripe is in the middle. I don't know that there's any truth to that. It talks about it here. Anyway, but apparently they do woolly worm races. So you can see this paragraph right here. So I'll come back to that at some point. But anyway, this program, this training program at work was a complete disaster. And I did a great job. I got the part I had to do, I got praised fairly well for because I'm a natural born teacher. But the administrative side of it was just an absolute nightmare. See, now this is where we quit going from news articles to a lot of waste. But we do have a hazardous waste disposal site in our county. So anything like this, I take there because I'm just going to throw it in the trash because I want to keep all those heavy metals out of the landfills and out of the groundwater, which is what they're making a point of saying here. So, but anyway, it ended up being like 20 or not 25, for like 45, 50 hours a week. And at the end of a day, I was so exhausted. And I have another YouTube channel that's actually a lot of food and cooking videos, and I did nothing. And for 6 months, I've done nothing. I was just exhausted. And it was crazy because the whole reason I did this was to try to get a promotion because I have worked in my current job for 4 years, and I have yet to get a promotion. And I have never worked anywhere for that long without getting a promotion. And as it turns out, yeah, they will find every single opportunity to not give you a promotion. This is the South County News, and so it's always talking about high school sports a lot. I have very mixed feelings about mixing high school education with sports. I think they should be separate. So anyway, so yeah, a lot of ads. I used to go to this credit union, but they were not good. Lots of obituaries. This is always kind of scary because people are dying in alphabetical order. You can't tell me there's not something weird about that. And then, so poetry, because you get that a lot. Anyway, so Yeah, big deal about high school athletes. Nothing about the scholars, though. Nothing about the scientists, the science students, the musicians, the artists. Um, yeah. So anyway, I have thoughts about that. So here's the good newspaper. But anyway, as it turns out, there are a number of us that have been shooting for promotions, and they're just not going to be forthcoming because that would mean that they have to pay us more. And of course, that's what you do when you have very high performing employees. You pay them more in an effort to retain them. You don't make them work tons and tons of hours for no extra money. So what's going to happen is I moved out of that training position and I went back to my regular QA position where I can just review data and say, yep, this is good, or nope, that needs to be redone. I love this one because I always have stuff about nature. They have a Remember When, which is some local historical thing. This is Miners Pies, and I don't even remember that. Miners Pies hit the spot. This is when advertising was a lot simpler. Contrast this with that Apple 1984 style computer ad that they did when they introduced the Macintosh. Yeah, I like this a lot better. And then they always have something nature. So this is about bird-friendly garden ideas to try this fall. So leave the leaves. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Do not rake your lawn in the fall. Leave it till the spring because a lot of beneficial insects need those leaves as a place to hide out for the winter. And then birds can eat the non-beneficial insects as well. So yes. There's always something about art in here, which is always great because we do have a pretty vibrant art scene in my county, which I love. But anyway, my new boss in the training department talked about how, she works 45, 50 hours a week. And of course, we don't get overtime because we're salaried and we're exempt. We don't get overtime. And she's like, I work 45, 50 hours a week. I work what it takes to get the job done. And I'm like, you know what? You have a second job. You have to have a second job because this job doesn't pay your bills. I am not going to give free labor to a job that doesn't even pay my bills. And it's just so ironic. This one also always talks about books, which I love. This is the one paper I will go through and read a lot of. And then November is when the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior. This is not the Edmund Fitzgerald. This is the Arthur M. Anderson. I'm not quite sure where they have a picture of a different ship on an article about the Edmund Fitzgerald, but I was a little kid when that ship sunk, and it was a big deal. And of course, what was his name? Gordon Lightfoot wrote a song about it. So, yeah, right there. Gordon Lightfoot's haunting ballad, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, was released nationally the following August. It's a very sad story. And of course, conspiracy theorists talk about weird things like rogue waves and all of that stuff. And maybe there was a rogue wave, but it definitely wasn't aliens. So, anyway, so I'm like, yeah, you are not even paying your bills with this job, and you're giving extra labor to it, and that's not how it works for me. And so my thing is always, if you want to retain me, you have to pay me, and this company does not want to do that, and study after study has shown it's cheaper to retain older employees rather than to retrain. Well, I guess I shouldn't say older. I mean current employees. It's cheaper to pay what it takes to retain them rather than hire somebody, train them, and deal with all the mistakes they make for their first year. So, but this is what they're going to find out because I am not the only person out there who is looking for a job. And this is a terrible time to be looking for a job. The economy is awful. But, oh well, there are places out there that are hiring. I have mad skills. I can do a lot of different things. See, now we have more stuff about art. There's Mexican mask exhibit. Oh, till January 4th. I will go see that over Christmas. Washi transformed new expressions in Japanese paper. We have a Kalamazoo Institute of the Arts that does fantastic things. So I need to spend more time there. Winner announced in the National Get Wild with Wild Rice recipe contest, which I didn't even know was a thing. But yeah, you can send in and get that. It's from Minnesota, cultivated wild rice finalist recipes. The Cultivated Wild Rice Council, the Minnesota, I should read this more carefully, to receive a printed copy of the 2025-2026 Minnesota Cultivated Wild Rice finalist recipes, which contain the recipes from all the finalists and a business-sized self-addressed stamped envelope to the Minnesota Cultivated Wild Rice Council, newest recipes, 4360 Churchill Street, number 1, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55126. I will probably do that, and I might talk about this on this channel and my cooking channel as well. One thing I have to think about nuts and berries, which is great. This person who writes this is a retired science teacher, so she's usually fairly in-depth and sciencey in a without overwhelming you kind of way. And then there's always this list of events on the back page of everything that's going on. So you cannot be bored in my county. There's always something going on. If I went to 2 of these events a month, I would be so happy, which I probably need to do. Like, for example, there's a wine and euchre event. This is past. Today's the 10th. This says November 6th. I don't understand what 468 wine, portage is, but I could look into that. Except I don't play euchre. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to work a second job because this job doesn't pay my bills. I don't work that way. Companies need to work hard to retain us. Employment is a business decision for me. It's not, I don't go to my job because I have 8 hours every day and I don't know what to do with myself. Obviously, I've got a lot of reading here I could be doing. I go to work because I have bills to pay. And if I can find a job that pays more, I will do that. So that's, anyway, without exhausting me. I don't want to work. I'm at the point in my life where I have done the 50-hour, 60-hour a week thing, and I'm not going to do it anymore. So this one also always has recipes, and this is all about squash. Look at that. Sweet butternut squash biscuits, squash stuffed with apples, nuts, and cranberries, and divine acorn squash dip. I used to have some friends in high school. My friend Jason, his parents ran a market garden. And we have a bakery here in town called Sarkozy's Bakery, which was run by a woman named Judy Sarkozy. And every year out at their farm, she would have a thing called Squasharama. And there was all sorts of things. We would do reel dancing and we would build totem poles out of squash and all of that. And it was a potluck, and every dish you brought had to have squash in it somehow. And I made squasha, which was salsa that I put cooked butternut squash in. So it was spicy and tomatoey and tangy, but also sweet and umami from the squash. It was really good. I need to do that again. I could do that on my cooking channel. So anyway, I am looking for another job, but I am back because I'm refusing to work more than 40 hours a week. I'm not going to give free labor to a job that's not even paying my bills. So, and that's on them. So this is the Southwest Michigan Spark. Again, I don't even want to talk about this guy because he's way too right-wing for me. But again, also, there's usually something historical here. A wildlife stuff. Oh, the Nutcracker, presented by the Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra. Love that. They always have somebody who's retired that they interview, and they talk about what they're doing now. This place here, this is Lee's Burgers and Malts. I've heard good things about this place, and if you look at that picture, it says cheeseburger happy hour, only $4.99, Monday through Thursday, 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. I start work early, so I'm done at 3. I could get up there for that, and I just might. $5 is cheap. So this was the Nathan Moore affair on the front cover. This looks like a jazz group. They look like a jazz group, don't they? And apparently they are. They are a jazz group. So, and look at what this guy's playing here. It's like one of those old keyboard guitar type things from the 80s. I remember those. That's his jam. He's a keyboard player, but he plays that so he can be up on stage, standing up on stage, which is great. Oh, the Civic is doing Annie again, which is amazing. They always have something about nature. These are the cicada killer wasps. So yeah, healthy living. They have recipes too. They have easy overnight artisan bread, which I might make. That sounds easy. I like bread. I like artisan. I like overnight, and I like easy. And apparently, Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo once came to Kalamazoo. which is awesome. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about what's in here. And they always have movie reviews for movies. I don't go to the movies anymore, and I don't really watch television, so I never know what kind of movies are out there. And I don't subscribe to streaming services. So, and then they have always Tales from the Road. These are people who travel. This is Scotland Part 2. Scotland is a gorgeous country. I would love to visit there, but anyway. And then the back page is always City View in the Square Co-op Senior Apartments. Because guess what? Guess who the major readers are of free newspapers? Seniors. I'm not a senior citizen yet, but I'm getting there. But anyway, so what you can expect from me, I spent the last few weeks cleaning up my other channel because I had a bunch of things on the SD card up here for the camera. I had a bunch of things on the computer. I had to get videos edited. A lot of stuff I just threw out because I tried filming and I was so exhausted that it was just terrible. So gosh, that is so pretty with the mums and the squash. Yeah, I love autumn. Autumn's my favorite time of year, and of course I say this, there's snow on the ground. But anyway, yeah, I just love that. It's so gorgeous. They got one of those yellow pumpkins. But anyway, I wonder if they should give credits for that. Who took that picture? I don't think they do. Maybe they do. Cover photo of a local porch display, courtesy of pumpkins on the porch. That's not a person. Pumpkins on the porch don't take pictures. Somebody took that picture. But anyway, so I've gotten that channel cleaned up pretty well and gotten things on track. I've got a bunch of stuff for this channel that I have to talk about and get edited. Not that I have to talk about, that I want to talk about. Because my birthday was in June, and I did get some birthday presents. Ooh, Mitsubishi pencils. Kind of excited about these. You know, I would take a peek, but they're taped, and this one's in plastic, and I'm going to leave that for the video. Also got these pencil caps, and everything on them, on this package is Japanese, except for the website, which actually is underneath this sticker, which is the one thing that they have on here that's in English, is on the sticker, because it covers up the website. Yeah, see, there's the website. But anyway, so I got a few other things like that for my birthday I want to talk about. I did get some zines. Ooh, I ordered some zines because I had a little bit of extra cash. I didn't really. I just decided not to buy like essentials and support some zine makers because life is tough right now. And I like to support people who are doing artistic things that I like. So anyway, I got to get this channel cleaned up. I got to see what's on the SD card from the camera. I got to see what's left over on the computer. But I will be putting things out there. If you're still with me after this long absence, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're going into the holiday seasons. I hope everything is going very, very well for you. I'm dealing with a lot of family issues right now, which are not great. They could be a lot worse, though, so I'm grateful that they're not. So anyway, thank you so much for sticking it out with me and listening to this very long video, which is like 20 minutes now. But we looked at the news and looked at some gorgeous pictures, and you might see some recipes that I'll do on my other channel, which you may not know about. So I'll put a link to it down in the show notes for this episode. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Like the Romulans at the end of the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, I'm back. So talk to you next time. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, please feel free to hit the like button. But if you have a question or a comment, please go ahead and leave one of those. I do read everything that I get, and I would love to respond to you. So until next time, have a great day, have a great week, and be careful out there.